Did you know? Super Mario Odyssey isn't the first 3D Mario game planned to have realistic proportioned humans. Real humans were planned to appear in Sunshine, which can be seen with a brown-haired girl from early footage of the game. Sunshine may have been planned to include multiplayer as well. The game has an unused camera function labeled SMSIS multiplayer map that zooms in and out to keep multiple characters in view. If this function is activated while both Mario and Shadow Mario are on screen, the camera will automatically zoom to keep both characters in sight. The Japanese version of the game also has files that mention an unused Isle Delfino train system. These files contain dialogue for buying tickets and getting them stamped, as well as a list of train stations on the island. Using the train also seemed like the primary method of accessing a level. Sunshine was even planned to have a form of currency known as Sol coins, which could have been used to buy items and tickets for the scrap train system. Furthermore, the names of the several unused beta levels exist in the game's code, including the Warship Island, Fire Shrine, Hurdle Rock, and Hotel Okrima, and other assets suggest that Corona Mountain was intended to be a full level, but over time later scaled back. Interestingly, a file relating to Gelato Beach has an obscene name and goes by the title Sand Bomb Bass Shit. Other folders contain lyrics from the songs I Wanna Be Loved By You and Stand By Me as placeholder text. Super Mario Sunshine has at least 3 unused enemies. One foe uses the same animations as Stroll and Stew, and is named Dorokuri in the game's files. As this enemy can steal Mario's hat, its name is most likely a reference to the Japanese word Dorobo, which means thief. There's also another, much larger Stew named Hinokuri 2 that seems to be an unused boss. When put into the game via hacking, it'll spawn other Stews while walking around. In order to defeat Hinokuri 2, the player has to spray water into the body to destroy its shell before stomping on its exposed eye. A 2D drawing of a Goomba named Cug is listed as a test enemy in the game's data. Cug actually exists in the game itself, located under Pinna Park. That said, it was never intended to be seen, but can be viewable by glitching the camera through the ground. Every area in the game has an image file that determines the distribution of goop within that level. For levels that don't contain any goop, the developers filled the unused images with notes and doodles, including a sketch of Cug. Several of the game's areas also have unused music. When Mario rides Yoshi, drums will be played to the beat of the song. Since Yoshi is absent from Noki Bay, the casino mission of Hotel Delfino, or any other secret courses, the Yoshi arrangements go unused. Another unused idea was having Flood use a gun-like nozzle for shooting enemies. The team cut this early on, fearing that the gun-like item would receive backlash in the United States. Super Mario Sunshine features full English voice acting in all versions of the game. Outside of English-speaking countries, the game can only be understood through subtitles in the local language. Surprisingly, the Japanese version of Sunshine features even more English in the game's Western release. When Mario and company arrive at Isle Delfino in the initial cutscene, Mario and Toadsworth have a brief conversation in the background.
I imagine we'll be spending a fair amount of time at the princess's side. Look like Mario's gonna have to find a job.
This dialogue was removed from the international release for unknown reasons. The Japanese version of the courtroom scene also uses an alternate recording. In this alternate take, one of the voice actors mispronounces the word shine as shrine. The in-game signposts in the Japanese version even display messages written in English. The text itself is just fragments of a dictionary sample sentence, and was replaced with generic symbols in other versions of the game. International versions of Super Mario Sunshine have several changes to the game's difficulty. One example can be found in the 6th episode of Serena Beach. The Japanese version requires players to clean 99% of the gloop in order to complete the mission, while only 95% needs to be cleaned in the Western version. In Europe, there are even more changes to the game's difficulty. The Ferris wheel in Pinna Park and the Windmill and Bianco Hills both move slower in other versions. In the Japanese version of the game, the Piantas and Noki both take their names from Italian words. The Noki are called Mare, which means sea, and Piantas are called Monte, which means mountain. This makes sense as Piantas are shaped like mountains and the Noki are covered in seashells. These two races seem to represent the land and sea, two equally defining traits of an island. Although most references to the word Monte were removed from the English game, the game's localizers overlooked one asset. The label on the game's water bottle still reads Monte Drink instead of Pianta Drink. During the game's cutscene when Mario meets Flood, an informational display pops up and shows several past Mario games, along with a block of text. A closer examination of this text reveals that it's a list of titles in the Mario series written backwards. However, the titles Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64 have both misspelled the word kart. Though these details are obscure, some of the game's secrets are completely hidden. One concealed secret is that racer Piantissimo has a familiar face under his mask. Removing the mask from the character's model shows that he greatly resembles the Running Man from Ocarina of Time and the Postman from Majora's Mask. Similarly, examining the model for the Ely mouth reveals that his throat and stomach are fully modeled with a notable amount of detail, despite never being shown in-game. In 2009, a scientific study by Sage Publications showed a link between playing Super Mario Sunshine and helpful behavior in people. In the experiment, participants were asked to play one of 3 types of video games: violent video games, neutral games, or games that researchers deemed pro-social, which included Super Mario Sunshine and Chibi Robo. Afterward, the participants were asked to give their assigned partner a series of puzzles to complete. The participants had a variety of puzzles to choose from, ranging from easy to hard, and were told their partners would receive a prize should they succeed. Researchers found that participants who played pro-social games were much more likely to give their partners easy puzzles. The scientists concluded that the results indicate games like Super Mario Sunshine can inspire people to be more helpful to others. Did you know that Yoshi was planned to appear in the first Super Mario Galaxy game? Or that for 2 years straight, Super Mario Galaxy 2 was the world's most pirated video game? For more Mario Galaxy facts, click the annotation on the screen. And if you like this video, consider giving it a like. And if you've never heard of me before, my name is Shesez and I do the Boundary Break Show. Basically, that fun fact that you just learned about GUG is something that I do as an entire series to some of our favorite video games. So if you want to see more of that, click on the Boundary Break playlist and see if your favorite game is on there.